Have you ever heard of the young English heir who was exiled from his home country and forced into hiding as his father, the King of England, was overthrown? Charles II has one of the most fascinating stories of all English kings and certainly saw more adventure and excitement than most others. He led armies trying to take back his homeland. He was on the run for weeks, never being able to stay up for more than a night or two in any one place for fear of being caught. He had to live most of his young life exiled in France, where he dreamed of one day sitting on the throne that his father had sat on, before he was overthrown and killed by the forces of Oliver Cromwell. Charles II was born on May 29th to King Charles I of England and Henrietta Marie from France. He was born into a period of political unrest. His father was a devout Anglican and was a strong believer in the divine right of kings, which said that kings ruled with total authority and got their powers straight from God. It went hand in hand with the belief that they could not be held accountable for any of their deeds by any earthly body, including Parliament, since the king's power was in fact divine. Not all of England held the same view of the divine power of the king. Charles I had a troublesome relationship with the House of Commons and was accused of violating the Magna Carta when he dismissed his second Parliament, which did not support the king's war with the Spanish and imposed a tax on his subjects. The king, according to the Magna Carta, cannot impose taxes without the approval of the Common Council of the kingdom. Because of this violation, Charles I's third Parliament forced the king to sign the Petition of Right in 1628, just 2 years before Charles II was born, which limited the power of the crown and placed limits on his authority, such as taxation, without Parliament's approval. Unfortunately, the struggle between Charles II's father and Parliament didn't end with the signing of the Petition of Right, and in 1642, when Charles II was only 12, civil war broke out between his father and Parliament. Charles II fought side by side with his father against the parliamentarian forces, who were led by Puritan Oliver Cromwell, who we will be making a video about in the future. Charles II, who was only a teenager during the Civil War, is reported to have been very brave. He fought with his father on the front lines of battle against Oliver Cromwell. There is even a story of the young lord refusing to go below decks for protection while his warship was fighting against the parliamentarian forces. However, as the war raged on, the royals grappled with the fact that Cromwell's forces might be victorious. In 1644, Charles II's mother, Henrietta Marie, was sent away from her home country of France for her safety. It is said that as she sailed away, she called out to her husband until she could no longer see the coast of England. Henrietta Marie would never see her husband again. A year later, as the war began to take a turn for the worse, Charles II was sent away by his father for the young heir's protection. Charles II's exile started in Jersey, a small island off the coast of France. Then he was taken to Sicily, and finally he was brought to France, where he was reunited with his exiled mother. The young prince was living a very different life than what he was used to. The French court was strange to the young prince, who was noted as being very awkward and clumsy with the women that he met, which was somewhat ironic considering that later on he was remembered as having many mistresses. While Charles II was getting used to his exile life in France, his father was still fighting the raging war against Oliver Cromwell's forces. That was until May of 1646, when he placed himself in the hands of the Scottish army, who eventually gave him away to the English Parliament. During the imprisonment of his father, Charles II tried to negotiate with Oliver Cromwell and his parliamentarian government. He pleaded for his father's life and got increasingly desperate as time went on. It's said that eventually, Charles II sent the English government a blank sheet with his royal name signed at the bottom and begged for them to write whatever terms they wanted as long as they let his father live. King Charles was charged with high treason against the realm of England by the parliamentarian forces on the 27th of January, 1649, and 3 days later he was brought to the scaffold to have his head chopped off in Whitehall, London. His final words were recorded to be, "I go from the corruptible to the incorruptible crown, where there is no disturbance." Charles I is said to have faced his death bravely, and allegedly wore 2 shirts to his execution since it was cold outside, and he did not want his shivering to be interpreted as fear. The English parliamentarian forces passed legislation blocking there ever being a king in England again and dissolved the monarchy. The news of his father's death shook Charles II understandably, but it also horrified the Scots, who declared Charles II the King of England and offered to support him if he would accept their self-rule as well as their Presbyterian demands. Charles accepted this and traveled back to Scotland from France in 1650. On January 1st, 1651, Charles II was crowned by the Scots at Scone. The Scots raised an army for the newly crowned king, and they marched south into England to engage Oliver Cromwell. Unfortunately for the young king, him and his army were defeated by the Parliamentarian army at the Battle of Worcester on the 3rd of September, 1651, and once again Charles II was on the run. Charles II was on the run for about 6 weeks in England after his army was defeated. Cromwell's men were constantly on the trail, and he had to be smuggled from safe house to safe house. They cut the king's hair, they dressed him in rags, and they even taught the high-born lord to speak like a commoner so that he would blend in. There's a famous story that comes from Charles II's time on the run. Charles and a man named William were resting under an oak tree when they heard soldiers. They realized that the soldiers were parliamentarian men, and that if they saw the young king and his protector, they would both be killed. However, the pair had nowhere to go, so in a last-ditch effort to hide, they climbed the tree. For many hours, the pair perched in the branches of the oak tree as soldiers that were searching for them paraded around underneath. Finally, when the soldiers moved on to search elsewhere, the pair were able to descend from the tree and continue on. Charles II would tell that story for many years after. Eventually, after many weeks of being on the run, Charles II was able to get a ship to take him back to France, defeated in his effort to retake his homeland, but still alive. Oliver Cromwell remained in power for many years, and Charles II never again tried to overthrow the Lord Protector of England, remaining in exile. However, when Oliver Cromwell died in 1658, his son Richard rose to his father's position. Richard proved not to be quite the man his father was, and he quickly resigned from the position. With the government that Oliver Cromwell had built collapsing, the English throne was reinstated, and Charles II was invited to come rule England as his father once had. In order to be restored to the throne, Charles II was forced to agree to honor the petition of right that his father had signed decades before, and he was also made to only have a limited income. In 1662, Charles was married to the Portuguese Catherine of Braganza, daughter of King John VI. He never was able to have a child with his wife, but Charles II fathered 13 children with various mistresses he had, clearly improving his flirting abilities since his stint in France. Charles II lived much of his life indulging in the many pleasures that had once come with the office of king. He became known as the Merry Monarch and filled his court with music, drink, and women. He is said to have often recounted tales of his days on the run and the adventures he went on during exile. Each time he told these, it is noted, they seemed to grow more and more extravagant. King Charles II died of a stroke in 1685 and was buried in Westminster Abbey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or have any ideas for future videos, leave us a comment. As always, we will be actively responding to all of them. Thanks for watching, and we hope you click back soon.